Hello and welcome to the Use It or Lose It podcast. This is your host, Joe Kyser, your co-host, Wolfy Gladly Accountability Inspector. Now, Wolfy and I have been getting together now for a little bit, and we keep saying we should start a podcast because we have some pretty good conversations. So last time we got together, I said, hold on a second, let me turn on the microphone because things are going pretty good again, and I want you guys to listen to the kind of conversations we have. Now, Wolfy, in all fairness, he had been drinking. He was not prepared for this podcast, but he did the very best he could on very little notice. So just sit back and relax and welcome to our very first podcast. Hopefully, we'll be able to crank out plenty more in the future and we'll be able to have you guys participate as well. Like, I think big. Like, if we want to do something, if I don't know how to do it, I know somebody that can help me. Or that will do it. That'll hey, I'll do that for you.
Whatever you make is when it's done, you're like, I gotta always do that better, and then that's what makes you better and better and better. But it takes time,
absolutely.
Man. Oh, that's what I was saying earlier. Was a lot of these people. I mean, even if they're like 4 months in, they're they can get railroaded. Whether it be like commenters or whatever, or maybe their mind is all over like subscribers and trying.
What do you mean, like 4 months into uploading
activism on YouTube with a camera, just out in public and just trying to see, like you're trying to poke around, like you've been watching, you want to become part of it.
It can be tough if you want to be like one of the gang, I guess you could say. Like, I don't know. I feel like there's almost, when it comes to YouTube and it comes to, there's definitely a First Amendment audit movement, whether or not everybody's there. I wouldn't say there's no collusion and there's no organization, but there's definitely groups and circles of people that talk to each other and, help each other, right? When somebody's down, somebody gets arrested, there's a call out for help. People.
That's the best part.
People get on there. Hey, listen, watch this video. So and so just got arrested. I'm not saying donate, but they're definitely going to need some help. There's definitely and it's not even like a tight knit circle, but it's there. It's
Yeah.
We all it's like auditors understand each other because they do it, and even when new ones come in. So I've seen some real fresh auditors get in trouble, and some have been on their own, but
or some are misled.
Yeah, which is real easy.
But
real easy to be misled because there's a lot of bad seeds out there too. I think there's a lot of good potential auditors that are just bad seeds. Period. There's a lot of potential. That's not them. That's not them in person. That's not their person, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, there's people that
How do you really judge though? How do you put a judgment?
You can't really judge because everybody that picks up a camera really is like a hero that does it and films like public officials. Now, I respect the people that go out to private businesses and stuff. I respect that you're on the public sidewalk. I mean, filming private businesses, that's fine, But when there's channels out there, they just go out and just boom, 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 just hit all the public officials up and ask questions. And the ones that dig down deep and really kind of get in there and try to get questions answered
for the public.
Because at the end of the day, we're just filming, So So while we're filming, we're getting all of this, and people are gonna see this. And if people just, let us in and give us all those answers, the videos would turn out to be just as educational as they're supposed to be. And then, of course, other times everybody's going to get upset, so you can't film me, and I'm not going to give you answers until you stop filming me. And, it's just a big mess, and I don't know. It's when you see a camera, it's your time to shine. If you're on a job, if somebody came to my job, and I was putting packing paper in a box, and somebody came, or like the camera crew came by, am I gonna say like "F you, dude"?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Get away
well,
from
yeah.
me.
I mean, I guess everybody reacts different. Everybody's different in all different situations, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
it's crazy. I mean, it's different. I understand that. I always tell people, yeah, we know it's different.
I don't know. Like, look, being in somebody's shoes, I can't tell you how I would act if I was in their shoes because that's them as a person. Like, I know me, if a camera crew comes rolling up, I automatically put on, I'm in front of the camera, like, because that's me. I'm all about it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm an in front of the camera person. It does not bother me. I don't care what they're doing, you know, like.
Yeah, there's like better things to say to a cameraman.
I don't know.
Like, hey, how about the weather or something, like, instead of
like if I run into somebody in my house with a camera, like, that's different. I'm in public. I don't understand where people get the privacy in public thing. Like, well, it's a privacy thing. Like, you don't have my permission.
Because they see TV shows, like, where you have to sign like this permission slip.
Yeah, but, like, I mean, obviously they don't understand. Yeah, it's obvious they don't understand. I understand. From being a photographer, there's been times in my youth holding a camera and doing my thing where I've had to learn where I didn't know if I was right or wrong. I didn't even know, and like I just took it on the head. Like I think I'm going to do the right thing, and I'm going to believe you. But later on, found out something different, and then I get salty behind that. Like, there are times where I was really mad after the fact. Like, yo, they lied to me. Now, did they lie to me, or did they think they were telling me the truth? I don't know. I think now that I'm older, like, older you are, the wiser you get. Like, you start to learn and understand people better, hopefully.
The best thing is, like, you record it, and then you can look at it again and again and again and go over it. And that's the best thing to do, is just pick up your camera and just record the cops. Because when they do that, you can just watch it.
Do you think the young people get it? Do you think our youth today get it? Do they understand what's going on?
I think they are getting it. That's the only reason. Like, social media reaches different places. Like, all right, YouTube will make its way to Twitter, and Twitter will make its way to Reddit, and Reddit will make its way to Facebook, and Facebook
I'm curious to look at some of these auditors' analytics, because that's one thing that I do for livings. I read web analytics all day long. And I understand them very well. I would love to understand, like, who they're actually reaching, who's paying attention, who's actually absorbing, who's watching this. You know what I'm saying? I've thought about that. I've definitely thought about that. Like, who is actually on the other end of this, being receptive to it? You know what I mean?
To what? Like what everybody else is doing here on these channels?
Yeah. As far as auditors,
it's going to be, the supporters who they want to see, if you behave or not with the camera. It's pretty much.
Well, I guess you're gonna have what? You're gonna have supporters. You're gonna have haters. I mean, the haters still watch.
Well,
there's people I dislike, and I'll watch their channel over and over again.
The one thing that I know is that the cops have done bad things to people. Very bad things. Some people had their houses taken away from them. Some people have had their cars taken away.
For what reason? What, retaliatorial?
No, for just victimless crimes.
Oh, yeah, sure, yeah.
Whatever it may be, and then they have this in them.
Oh, that's the truth,
and that's their reason for watching, and they are patriots just as well as us, trying to find answers.
I feel like auditors...
Some are angry, some are patient, some are cool, some are different. Everybody's different.
I feel like most auditors are going to have some sort of story behind why they even do what they do. I feel like that it started somewhere. There's a reason why. I always think like this. Like, I'm always like...
discrimination is pretty much like the start of it. Like, when you grow up, you're young, and they target young people, and they try to, see if you're...
Some people never experience that, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, some people... Like, it's different for everybody. But maybe that same person might have They might have had their house foreclosed on. The sheriffs might have had to come in and physically remove them.
It's their choice whether they try to prosecute you prosecuted for it or just
police. I know for a fact can work with discretion. So say let's say I have
the trust.
Okay, let's say I have marijuana right here, and a cop comes up and he sees it. He has choices. He can arrest me for it because it could be illegal, right? Because I'm not allowed to possess marijuana. New Jersey, I don't have my medical card, right? He could take it from me. He could just say, I'm going to pretend like I didn't see that. Let's take care of the other issue at hand. There's all sorts of choices, and they're allowed to use their discretion. They, you have cops that'll come up and say, well, I have to. Like, not necessarily, because you can use discretion. Do all cops understand they can even use discretion? Or are there cops that think like, well, I have to?
Or like, which way is it?
I think like the cops that say that I have
they know they can.
That they don't always give the ticket when the opportunity arises. That they do use discretion sometimes, and they pick and choose when you use discretion.
Well, they could take your ID and be like, oh, what are you, like Maxine's cousin or something that I heard about? Oh, okay, just, here's your license back. You know what I mean? They know they can use discretion.
Sure. Absolutely.
Do I think that there is like
and they do. I mean, like, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying cops don't use discretion. They do. They should. We're all human. I don't think they should be out there to hurt people. They're there for us, in my opinion. They're there to serve us. I formulate that opinion from what I've been given the information on what cops are to me.
When you have like one unit,
that they are there to serve us. They are there for the people. They're out there to do their job, which does pertain, not necessarily do they have to give tickets to people. They shouldn't have to raise money. You know what I'm saying? Like, that shouldn't have to be part of the job.
Well, around here, it's like more tickets than anything else because there's nothing else to do. I mean, and the sticks.
Yeah, like what kind of crime's really going on? Like
crimes here and there, maybe.
They're certainly not stopping crime. Like,
but then there's like
not around here, especially like in a town like this where I'm at. It's so small. The cops would have a horrible rapport if they were on the street just busting crime. You know what I mean? Imagine being a cop in this town if you're out there with your pangus out all day, like, come here, I saw that one. I witnessed it. We're bringing it to court. No, the cops around here have to turn their head. There's certain things they have to. They have to leave that up to the narcotics task squad. Right. That comes in. They're the faceless people that come in.
We need live TV.
That's what we need. Absolutely. I say we need to do more requests of body cam footage to see what goes on. Real footage. Let's get real, honest footage. Which even's really not the fact that they can turn them off and on. I've heard excuses like, we couldn't keep them on all day. How much data we'd have to store.
Yeah.
But like, there's definitely excuses.
Yeah.
One day I think there's always going to be a camera on. Look at Tesla. They use cameras in their car, smart cameras. They come on when they need to. Right. And they've proved that they can use that technology and it can be viable in this little card, just like you would put in your cell phone. Tesla uses the same exact card, an SD card. Mm-hmm. Same exact thing they use in their car to run these cameras and take pictures of when people are robbing the car, scratching it. So why can't a cop have a camera that does that? When there's action, when there's interaction, boom, let's go. You're on.
They're gonna say, well, it's because
why are there so many
making a sudden turn or whatever in the car, if it's action or if it's just him reaching for a napkin.
They're working for us. Do you mean to tell me that the people don't want to see this body cam footage? They don't want to understand what's going on? You mean to tell me that people don't want that?
People do want that. People do want that.
Look, okay, and it gets down to, what are they here for? Are they here for us? Or are they here for their own thing? You know what I mean? What's the deal? Is it just me work to be authority Look, I think we come down on cops hard, and I think, they do deserve to be come down on hard too sometimes. There's no accountability, and that's what auditors bring.
There's never really gonna be accountability.
How do you
It's so rotten, like from the core out.
Why was there never accountability set up from the get-go? It's a job that doesn't have the same structure that other jobs have. It's very much lacking accountability.
It's a locker room. It's not a job.
Everybody sticks together. Yeah.
No, it's a different kind. It's one of those.
It's a different kind.
Man. It's like
they got guns and can use their guns.
The rookies,
and they'll help each other. Yeah, I know.
Crazy.
And it's a shame because it's those guys that make the good cops look bad. That
they're forced to be bad cops because they get so upset. You have to think.
It's like look at what everybody around you is doing, and you're being the good guy. They stick out. Those cops go through a lot of shit. Those guys that are the good cops,
all scumbags.
Unless they're in a department that's got. Look, it's all about the leadership.
It's crazy.
It trickles down. If you have piss poor leadership, you have piss poor cops out there performing.
It's just the good old boys.
If you have leadership where the chief is where he's a polite guy and he instills that, and and he runs a smooth shift, then that's the kind of cops you're going to have. So that's the department you're going to have. You know what I mean? And I don't feel like cops don't have that. They don't have that. They don't have that. If you're a good cop, you're kind of out here.
Yeah, but you can't be a good cop around these other guys.
And our definition of what a good...
It's peer pressure.
Our definition of what a good cop is...
How am I supposed to do this? I'm around him. Or her, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm supposed to I'm trying to get a promotion.
Their definition of what a good cop is different.
Because I don't want to lose this job. This paycheck is crazy if I don't have this paycheck.
Them being a good cop means one thing than it means to us.
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
And there's that disconnect between I guess we don't understand it and they don't understand it. I like to kind of think I understand, like I get it, but
like you become a cop and then you're not all of a sudden like you're in a brotherhood that protects each other and all that shit, but then
you're not above the law.
You're abused in that bitch too. Like it's crazy.
Is there anybody that's above the law?
Huh?
Is there anybody that has
above the law?
Right, there are people, but there's like ambassadors to other countries that can come here and they're immune to the law, right? Isn't there situations where?
I don't know.
Actually, I mean, it sounds crazy, but I think there are instances like
I don't know, above the law people like just fly right.
There's people from other countries that have come here and killed people in car accidents and where they can't be touched. They don't go through customs. They don't get their passports checked.
And like some Freemason shit. There probably are some people that are.
I know some people. I know for a fact there are people like that. I know people that. I know a dude. His dad was a diplomat. He was a foreign.
Nobody knows who this guy
is. His dad was a foreign diplomat, right?
Yeah.
And he could fly. He would take this plane and he could fly anywhere he wanted. No passport. And their law was nothing. They couldn't punish.
I'm sure there's people that are like Steven Seagal, but not like the celebrity guy.
Yeah, there's gotta be.
There's like people like that.
I'm sure.
That are really,
there is.
Law and shit that they just like let around.
It sounds crazy, but there's definitely. I mean,
crazy.
At the top of your head, like right away, who do you think? Like, if you're gonna say somebody's above the law, they might not be completely above the law, but who would you think? Like who?
Man.
Like who would be the least immune to law? The least punishable, the least affectable.
I think everybody's on the spike.
Like the president? You think the president of the United States, the vice president?
No.
People in Congress?
At the end of the day, nobody really cares about that.
Politicians are pretty immune. Right? Aren't politicians pretty immune to the law?
Who is the most what? Worthy of what?
Who's the most above the law?
Above the law.
Who's the least impacted by a law? Can almost do anything they want. Not going killing people, but, they want to run some red lights and, you know what I mean? Like, I guess there's different levels to that.
I don't even know, I don't even know. I couldn't even answer that. I don't know. That's the biggest question.
Like, judges? Like, Like, I wouldn't say they're
immune. Judges are
I wouldn't say they're completely immune, but they're pretty high above.
The biggest sovereign
citizens. Yeah. Well, isn't that what a sovereign citizen is?
You have to vote for the judge. You know? So
yeah.
People vote for the judge. So that is pretty big. You know, when you're responsible
that's a big deal.
For the justice of the people.
That's a big deal. That's
crazy.
Yeah, judges hold different positions depending where they're at in the country and how their local government's set up. But for the most part, they, it's more than just behind the bench. They actually, do have positions where people depend on them,
Dependent on judges, right? If
lawyers, you see the YouTube videos where a judge gets pulled over drunk driving and the cop's got to do the right thing,
Yeah.
But I'm sure there's plenty of instances where it goes the other way too, right? Like, we just don't know about that.
Yeah.
They're not singing about that stuff.
Yeah. We didn't lock you up for a DUI like we would everybody else. Yeah.
I've seen where cops have pulled other cops over that are DUI, and he was like, "Yeah, can't you, do the old he's like, I already called it in," and they like whisper to each other like, "I called it in, like there was nothing I can do, like I didn't know he was a cop." Right. Like the very last one I watched, that was the deal. Like, he was pounding on the window, he didn't know the dude was a cop.
Right.
Pound on the window. He calls it in. Of course, he calls it in. It's like the dude was like, "Oh yeah, I'm a cop. Don't call this in." It's almost like that cop knew, like, if he hadn't called it in, he could let him go. He could, they could wash it, but now it's like I got to do what I got to do now. Like, it just seems so weird. It seems so weird. The guy was sleeping on the side of the road, is what it was, and he was drunk. So the cop come up. He didn't open the window. He didn't open the door for like a minute. Finally, the dude woke up and was like startled and wanted to like drive off and shit. Yeah, the dude was drunk as hell, and he's a cop, got off duty, had some beers, and was driving around, supposed to be on his way to like another cop's house or something like that. Yeah,
another party,
trying to get out of it. He was trying hard to get out of it the whole time.
Yeah, I'm here, and he's naming people probably. Like, yeah, we're going.
Everybody. He even had like the chief like come and like pick him up, like take custody of him. You know what I mean?
The chief has got.
Yeah, like it was like crazy, and even he was like, you're an asshole. Like, why would you do this?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, don't be calling my name out like this. Like, I'm gonna call him. Like, you put yourself in this position.
Yeah.
Like, why are you out here passed down the side of the road in your truck?
Good for him. Good for that guy. That's what's up.
And that was all body cam footage. That was all. Yeah. I mean, I see the right thing happen. It happens. It happens.
Here and there.
I feel like it just doesn't happen to me.
Or if it's on body cam, they can't take it back, and they already reported the stop.
That's
the biggest thing. They already reported the stop.
Yeah.
And that's why they can't.
And it comes out automatically. They get a dispatch number.
Yeah,
that gets tagged to it. Yeah. Which is all very true stuff. Like, it's all generated. I get it. I know how that works.
Yeah, you body cam, and you know what I mean? Like, now that you have to be.
Yeah, this shit's official. Like, somebody's going to have to answer that if there's questions asked. So, do you want to be on, when you're giving answers, how do you want to.
A couple good videos with that, with the body cams where they have, like, dude, we have to do our thing.
The body cams have definitely leveled the playing field in certain situations.
Like, it's already done. Like, sorry, dude.
And there's been crazy body cams where, how about where a dude shot dude in the back where he was running away? Remember, there was like the white cop against the black guy, and he was running away and shot him in the back.
Shoots him, dude. What? Yeah, I saw that.
That was body cam footage, and he got off on that in that little town, like Missouri or wherever it was.
I forget.
He got off on that.
Oh shit.
That
was in the East Coast.
They ruled that, whatever the rule was.
That's crazy.
I could definitely,
shoots him in the back.
I can definitely say that the public in general, not just cops, but the public in general, they treat cameras specifically like they're guns, like they're weapons. People treat cameras like there's a whole lot of shots about like privacy, not allowed, not allowed. There's a lot of not allowed, but your two eyes can be there, but your camera can't.
Right.
And just from experience, dude, I've gotten it plenty of places. I go in stores with my camera. Like I get in the mall. I do I was doing the sneaker things, going in sneaker stores.
They have to give you a warning to leave.
Some people most of the time, just because of like my personality and I talk to people, I've never gotten kicked out. Like, no,
oh, that happens.
But I've had them be like, yo, you gotta go. You can't be doing this. Like, you gotta, yeah. It's just I've gotten some good footage up in the mall.
It's crazy.
I go right through the middle of the mall with my camera. I don't care. Yeah. And nobody,
if they say you can't.
Nobody really ever says anything. I get a lot of funny looks, like people looking like, what? Yo, the best is when I'm done and I bring home the footage and I scrub through it and I see all the things I didn't see.
Yeah,
when I was walking, like when I see the guy like looking real hard, or like I didn't see that, yeah. There's like a lot of cool things I always see after the fact.
Yeah, I see a lot of things too, and I try to point them out when I
and it's good, that's good for auditors too, though, because look, you're videotaping your encounter.
And you have to observe it.
All right, and when you're done, you can go back and you look like,
put it up,
how did this go? You can question yourself. How did this go? Yeah. What would I do different maybe next time? Or how is he wrong when he told me that? How could I, have
and that's how
taught him or
just examine the video as it goes along and do it like your most creative way to try not to take people's minds off of what's actually going on.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you know what? Everybody's got their own motivation, I think, too, for being on YouTube specifically. I think everybody's got their own motivation. I think everybody uses YouTube in their own way. You know what I mean?
I just like the feeling of being free on a business hour in a building where I can get questions answered.
Right?
And actually get questions answered.
Look, it's not something that people think about.
Love it.
People treat places like that when you got to go to the tax man or you got to go to... People don't like the municipal building. They treat it as like the business they're doing is not the best business in the world there. They're not there for the best reasons.
People want to see it, though.
They don't understand that they're there for the people. They're not there to hurt you. These people are actually there to help you. These people are there to help you get done whatever you need to get done, to facilitate your needs. So I think that's good that, the public can actually see, this is your tax dollars at work, if you need some information on something or you need to get something done, come up here. And I've done it personally. The first time I bought a house, I started questioning all sorts of people around town that work for the township and all. And I learned a lot of stuff.
It's like going on YouTube and searching how to change a cylinder in a 2006 Ford pickup, right? And then you finding out how to. It's how are you gonna get treated?
Yeah.
If you go and do a thing into a place where you can do something where you can, and public place and I don't understand it.
Well,
people do it and they come in and I can do this, blah, shut your mouth. But I legitimately come in and I'm trying to have questions and on videos I have questions for these people. And
I think it's amazing at some of the stuff they make up. Saying, you
harassment.
Can't do this. Yeah, come up with harassing. Somebody can go in there and not say a word and they say it's harassing because you have a camera on them. That's harassing. There's no action. The camera gives no action, remember, right? Or, you know what I've seen? People get assaulted. Somebody come up, whack somebody's camera and a cop will see it. That's fine. But you're harassing because you had the camera on them. So, in return, they're allowed to whack you.
The funniest.
Could you imagine if you went up and whacked the cop's camera on their chest and it's like, wow, now.
Yeah,
you were harassing me with that because you had it on. I saw the red light.
Right.
You know, like, come on.
The funniest thing is when people try to kick you out of the public place or not help you because I'm video.
Not help you, yeah, because you have to do.
I've had it happen so many times.
When you're allowed to.
Are you recording? Yes. Okay. Well, let me see if you can do that before I help you. What?
It's a little weird, right?
Yeah, like I don't understand that. Come on now.
Like, okay, I get they don't want to be on camera, but maybe they didn't understand when they got the job that they could be subject to being on camera.
We don't know anything about
I mean, look, when you work for the public, it is what it is. Like, you didn't understand that, what the job was? Like, you thought your aunt got you this job, and there's going to be this cush in the corner, nobody sees you all day, and you don't deal with anybody?
Yeah, exactly. I can see you with your bad hair day with my public eyes. So
there's people that legitimately want to know if they can go in there and get their business taken care of and not have issues, and if they can get help,
right?
Camera or not. I mean, it is legitimate. People like to know this stuff. I definitely know this.
People are curious to know. Like what they can expect to come and get.
Some of these people, the way they just act, like just because of the camera. You know what I mean?
Wolfys was crazy.
Like, getting up in your face, like
how they let the girls wait for an answer.
Yeah.
For what they needed, because they had to babysit me while I was getting a public records request at a bunch of cabin.
Yeah, that is pretty crazy. That is. Yeah, like why? Like, come on.
Okay, now we can get to...
Yeah. Like, yeah, that was pretty crazy. They were, they were being protective. They said somebody was already in the conference room, so they couldn't go in there. Like, I understand, but they were being dramatic protective, too, at the same time, right? They made sure they were, like, made it known to be a point, like, it's their fault. Because they're doing their civil rights activity.
You can't have any of your questions answered right now at this moment.
We just can't help you.
Yeah, that was crazy.
And we're doing that for you. That's your protection. Even them girls were they seemed deathly confused. They were like, what is going on here? Oh yeah, the girl was like, yeah, whatever.
They held the door open for us, and they were
They
never said nothing. Like they were like, these cops are weird. All they're doing is filming that.
I felt like that girl didn't even want to be there, period, because she was like, like when she first initially told him while she was there, I felt like she just didn't want to. She was like,
man, we gotta wait for these cops to babysit some dudes that don't need to be babysitted. Like what?
I think that was great. Like, you were recording the sign about, like, do not enter, and you come up, like, like you were, like gonna break that plane. You were gonna go past that do not enter.
Yeah. As soon as we came into the parking lot.
You're not allowed past there, right? Yeah. Oh, that's what that sign said?
That sign right there.
I was trying to make it out, but, I just couldn't quite read it.
I'm very upset.
You know what's funny? We had 4 people at every place, and they pretty much just addressed you, like they weren't really trying to have contact. I think some of these places almost knew, like they're like, now we gotta.
I know Lindenwold knew me.
Now we gotta do this.
Lindenwold knew me.
Some of them were high, like they were like, yo.
I know what you want to do is record.
I bet you some of them have been checking YouTube since. How much you want to bet?
Oh, they always check.
I want to see myself. I want to see how I look.
Yeah.
I want to see how I look.
I make them wait.
It was at the end of the day, oh my God, my makeup. Right? Mm-hmm. That's what they're thinking. That's half the time. I think that's why these women
back on me.
The women definitely act different about it, and I think that's what they're thinking. Like, do I look good for the video?
Yo, well, the one woman's getting owned. The woman in Lindenwold.
Yeah.
Who said they're not covered over the open records request.
Yeah.
And then I was trying to see the first or last email sent or received.
Yeah. That was great.
And then they wouldn't do it for me. They said, here's a form.
They didn't even get up, right? They sit in the chairs the whole time? That was where you were like, what did they say? Right? Isn't that when you were like, what did they say to the girl?
I gave them so many shit. Well, I don't know. Yeah, what?
Didn't they sit in their chairs the whole time? Like they didn't even get up?
No, it wasn't that one. That was Lindenwald after the kids. The kids are in here.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
and I was asking them if I can get I can see the last sent or received email. The question I had for Berlin was about how much money did they receive from people of Berlin and the outsiders in the last month, and they couldn't answer. And
I was kind of surprised, like they couldn't be like, "Oh, we have data on that." Yeah. Like
they wouldn't.
That was very surprised that they didn't have open, that they didn't have data, that they couldn't be like, you could fill out a request and I can get that for you at the very least.
Yeah, they wanted me to stick around and cause a ruckus about it.
They're
not gonna do it, so I left. It's bullshit though, but I got it on camera. That's it, I'm out.
That definitely surprised me. I was very surprised about that. Like, wow.
And then, I was really surprised about Lindenwald, where she said, well, we're not held responsible under the Open Public Records Act on here in the court clerk's office area. Like, they're exempt.
We're different. Did you say, like, we're different, too, or something?
Yeah, I asked her some questions about that, and then...
Yeah, that was weird, right?
Yeah, and then she was like...
That's not the first time I've heard that, though.
I give you the paper. At least they had the paper, and they knew how to give it to me and shit.
Yeah.
That's cool. But I knew that they were, like, messing with my rights, right? So when I looked up the Open Records Request Act, which I already knew what it was, I just didn't realize the first damn sentence is any public records that are readily accessible can be documented on site, photographed, and videotaped, or whatever. It's the first sentence.
And emails
of like a lot of sheets of paper.
Emails are public records, and if it's something, if they have an email address, and you said, give me your last 10 emails received and sent, it's their email address, they should be able to print that.
I expect redactions.
If they can go check their email, then they can go print out those last 10. Yeah. I understand too. Like, I guess everything can't be done on the spot, but there's got to be like, there's got to be like willingness to like. There's got to be something.
You work.
There's got to be something.
You work.
Just because you don't want to give it up doesn't mean you shouldn't give it up.
If nobody does it and asks for public records, nobody does it except for lawyers and shit, right? So like they don't respect anybody else that does it. So like if they don't, then they're just gonna forget about that shit. Nobody cares anyway.
That's my whole point to the documentary. Use it or lose it, because this is what happens when you don't use your rights. Mm-hmm. When it's something you don't do, you just end up losing it. Because what would happen sooner or later if nobody went in there asking for this stuff,
right,
even though we don't really need it. Like, people understand, I don't need your last 10 emails. That's not the point.
Right.
I'm using my right to get it, so you know that I can get it. I'm going to get it, and this is how it's going to be. If nobody ever does that, they'll end up making some sort of laws where, like, well, that, you know what I mean? Like, it was good, like, nobody ever did it this long, so we'll just keep going, you know? That's
it. You have to keep.
You lose your rights more and more every day when you don't use them. Plain and simple.
Exactly.
Plain and simple. It's just how it works. You don't gain rights, that's for sure. You're not gaining. Nobody's gaining rights. Nobody's getting. Nobody's getting more freedom. It's just not working that way.
Yeah, there's no gain.
Yeah, everything that
there's never been gain.
Everything that all the activists and the whole entire world do together still doesn't give that forward momentum where there's that major changes. It's still, you know. But we've been able to look. There's been such a strong militarization of the police over the last 20 years. I think we've been able to shed light on this. I think we've been able to start making changes, which started your local police, policy changes, and not only do they have to, look, here's one thing I noticed. They make policy changes.
Thomas Jefferson said it.
There's plenty of people or plenty of stations, they can make policy changes, but if they don't follow them, it doesn't mean anything.
Replenish the blood of government is what Thomas Jefferson always.
Well, he believed that should be done often.
Yeah.
He was a firm believer that like every 20 years, you're flushing the system. You're making sure you have fresh blood in position, ready to fight and work for the people.
You know what I'm saying? If everything's fine, then.
And we've had to.
It wouldn't be like that if like we found another George Washington. Like they would understand. Okay, then you have to. But if you have to every 20 years, boom.
It sounds so extreme, right? I think, and that's why people have a hard time accepting. But look where it gets you. I don't think there's any denying.
From 1975 to 2000, like what?
Is it security? Like because, like we're like
you have to like contest. It's not bloodshed. It's not exactly what
they want us to give our rights up over security matters and purposes. That's a lot of times. That's where you're losing rights at.
When
for more security, you're giving up more rights.
They were fighting a man's fight back then, so bloodshed meant something. But nowadays, bloodshed means like it's our duty to give it back to these and get these bad people out of the office and do it in battle all the time. It's our duty. That's what they need. So but of course, then it would be, they would say no, and then you have to bomb back at each other, you know what I mean? It would be like, well, we can't do that now. There's laws, and the judge don't carry a gun in the courtroom as well as another person doesn't,
Yeah.
It's not like the Wild West like it was back then.
Right.
But it all stands for the same purpose. And what it means now is that we have to target these people that are bad for our judicial system, our legislature, and these guys, the top people in the federal agencies. These people need to be analyzed. These people need to be held accountable. Like without that, like we're never gonna fix anything. Our fight really isn't.
Yeah, well, exactly. Who's holding politicians accountable? Like who really? That's a tough. You know what I mean? They only hold each other accountable, and unless you get somebody who really screwed up, things get pushed under the carpet. They all work together. It's just like the cops.
Get cleaned up. It's never gonna. There's no fixing that shit.
Yeah, there's got to be more open air. More transparency.
That's why you have to just record every time people come to you.
More transparency, or this is what you get. Accountability. As people, I think the people have a civic duty to. If you want your rights, you have to. It's just how it is. It's always been like that.
If you want to retain your rights, you have to fight for them. You don't get rights for free. Rights have never been given to anybody for free.